Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I have a video for you, fresh from Reading Grid's Twitch archives. This is from the Reading Regionals, top 8 cut. This is the semifinals. I am playing Fort Wizard on the left up against probably the best, best UK Netrunner, Dave Hoyland, playing Butcher Shop on the right. Now we have met each other in the Swiss rounds. I swept him there. In the top cut, I met against him in the upper bracket where he knocked me down to the lower bracket with his Siphon Spam Wizard against my HB. It's time for me to get revenge, or for him to avenge his getting swept in the Swiss by playing Butcher Shop against my Wizard. My opening hand is horrible. There is nothing that I want in there apart from the one I've had worse. So I just show Dave my hand. Like, we both kind of know each other's decks, having played each other quite a bit already, so I didn't mind showing it. Yeah, that was just an awful hand. I've had worse is quite important, but knowing that against Butcher Shop you're up against Traffic Accidents and Scorched Earths, you really don't want to rely on the one I've had worse in 5 cards. That's a 40% chance of keeping you in the game, and 60% chance of losing outright. Those are not good odds. I want to avoid being in that situation as far as possible, and you'll see that in this game I'll play to every out I can to ensure that that doesn't happen. Also of note, I'm trying to draw into either economy or draw cards, most ideally the wild side. Economy is actually pretty important against Hoyland because he is running somewhat traditional Butcher Shop. You can almost imagine it's a harpsichord Butcher Shop, so you have to expect mid-seasons and 24/7. Those are his taggy cards as far as I'm concerned, along with breaking news. So, my opponent seems to start with a really good opening hand, bunch of black cards, and I start with a pretty good hand myself. I think there's quite a bit of economy, but no draw. So that's the drawback of my opening hand. But you'll see that I can make most opening hands work. That's one good thing about Dumble Forks. Every card in there is good, so you should be able to get going some way or another. And if you can't, just draw. No harm. So first click is a sure gamble. Second click is Dirty Laundry randomly on the server. Just to keep it honest, that's a Sensi. I'm going to trash it. Now, usually you can't really run early because if you hit an agenda, you have to face a mid-seasons, and your opponent starting on Sweet Sweet could have a hedge fund in hand. But starting with Gamble and Dirty Laundry ensures that I can check this remote's turn 1. I don't check the other remote because I'm out of Wizard credits, and I don't think he'd be sneaking any Astros. Well, I was wrong. He was going to sneak an agenda out. The good news is it's only a QPM. The bad news is this is going to haunt me later on in the game. You just wait and see. I really didn't want him to get that. Kitty Cats in my score area is a huge deal, because towards the late game there'll be Ravens and Gutenbergs and bad, nasty, taggy eyes everywhere. You really want to get the Kitty Cats out of the way before they haunt you late game. Anyway, Street Peddler comes in. That is my draw. I hope to see a wild side here, but I did not. I did manage to bury one I've had worse under the Peddler, so that's not good for me. Although I do have another one in hand. So, at the bare minimum, if he ever gets 2 clicks to traffic scorch me, I always have a 40% chance of survival. So, I keep poking around his centrals, in addition to trying to draw my wild side, trying to draw my econ. I discard a liberated accounts here because I have another liberated accounts under the Peddler, which I'm going to bring out in time to come. So I was not worried about my economy situation at all. I was drawing more economy than I ever needed. So why was I poking around on centrals? Firstly, because I was confident that I had enough money to outmoney him, and thus outmoney the mid-season trace. And secondly, again, just to weed out the Kitty Cats, weed out the breaking news, make sure, because if he's not scoring a breaking news, it means that he has none in hand. So that's a good sign that I should be running R&D instead of HQ, because if he's not scoring breaking news, it means that they are in his deck, and I do not want him to score breaking news. As you know, once he gets a breaking news in his score area, he activates 24/7, and that's bad for me. Take note, I do not run Plus Crit or Sports Hopper in this deck, so I cannot dig for the out. The best out I can dig for is another copy of I've Had Worse to increase my survival chances after a traffic accident. So this is why I'm playing a lot more aggressively than normal, and my economy situation allows me to do just that. If I drew any less economy at the start of the game, this would be off the table. Anyway, as you see, my opponent is actually getting a lot of money. One very good strategy for Butcher Shop players or anyone who is trying to pounce on a surprise mid-seasons as the co-op is to hold money cards in hand that restructure that sweet. because then you can really surprise your opponent when you get more credits than they thought you would. So you see he's already played 2 Sweet Sweet, 1 Hedge Fund. He's on 14, I'm on 12. So that's not very good for me, but again, I do have the Liberator accounts tucked right under my arm, so I'm feeling good about that. I do poke HQ. This time I'm poking HQ instead of R&D because at this point he hasn't really been scoring agendas for a few turns, so I figured there were agendas in there. So this is not actually a very good move. While having agendas in hand is generally a good thing, for me, it doesn't necessarily mean I should take them. If you remember what I said about Prison IG and how the big boy suggests countering it, you would remember that you want HQs to clutter up in hand. You don't want to take them. You want to leave them there right for the picking, and then steal them so that you can turn off Cerebral Static as Wizard. So that was for Prison IG. What about Butcher Shop? If you notice, I do have a turntable in my hand, and turntable is going to be my huge out. I'm not playing it right now because I want to surprise my opponent, who won't see the turntable coming, but because no one plays turntable nowadays in Double Forks. And this is actually going to be one of my biggest outs. So I tried to hit HQ again here, which is again a mistake. I guess I'm just trying to force him to res ice here. I'm not actually intending to steal his agendas, but I really shouldn't have tried to pull that kitty cat out. Because I want to leave it in HQ so I can turntable it when he eventually scores a breaking news, which he does right now. He installs the breaking news and double advances it. I did jack out from the Data Raven, and one of the reasons I want to force him to res ice here is so that I can fork it, so that I can parasite it. That's what you want to do as double fork. Unfortunately, that is off the cards right now. Now that there's a ticking bomb on me. With 2 agendas in his core area, one of them being a breaking news, I need to respect the fact that he possibly has a 24/7 traffic scorch by now. Sure, I have been suppressing his Sensei Actors Union, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a good draw. There's a very good chance he has the combo. So I need to get the turntable on the table and steal an agenda somehow. So now the question is HQ or R&D better? And this is why I shouldn't have stolen the kitty cat in the first place. If it were in HQ, that's one extra agenda I could steal. So I'm just thinking very hard right here. What is my best out? I also need to ensure that I end my turn with 5 cards in hand, just so that if I fail to nab the agenda I need, at least I have a 40% chance of survival. So this is again playing to your outs. Sure, I could say, okay, I'll just draw 4 cards, hope to find my last IFAC worst, and roll the dice. That is conceding that you will only have a 40% chance to win. And that's not how you do well in tournaments. You need to push your win rate above that 40% baseline. So what I'm gonna do is to try to go for that turntable. I'm just now thinking of the best way to go about it. R&D or HQ? R&D or HQ? It took me a long time to come up with a good solution for this. Neither was very good. HQ is obviously more ideal, but the Raven is a huge blocker. Now, take note that one very important point is that with 2 kitty cats in score areas, and it means that there's only 1 kitty cat left in the deck, which means that I'm not that worried about accessing with tags. Right now, what's more important is that I get as many accesses as possible before my turn ends. So, I fork the Raven, and I take a tag, and I find a 15 minutes, which allows me to swap. So that's a huge deal. I really needed that on click 2, so that I could clear the tag on click 3, and then have a safety draw for click 4. So that was very clutch for me. I just raised my win rate well above that 40%, because now that turned off his kill, at least until he finds the next breaking news. Obviously, he doesn't have another breaking news in hand, so my next course of action should be to pound R&D. I'm not sure if I have a medium at this point, but I need to be very careful. He is forcing me, diverting my attention away from R&D, which is where I really should be hitting. With Jacks on the table, I have to try to trash it. At this point, I finally draw my medium. I'm trying to draw the wild side here. My opponent automatically shuffles with Jackson in case I'm running Hades Shard. Yes, I'm known for slotting tech cards. So, at this point, I'm just really looking for my wild side. I really need to start drawing through my deck to find the second IFAC worst to really boost my shot of winning, and then I can play the medium and break whatever he has on R&D to lock R&D. So that's what I'm looking to do. I still don't find what I need. My draw is not the best, but I really can't complain because I had early money and the early turntable. So this is why I think turntable is kind of huge, even in a post most wanted list meta where Astros aren't flying everywhere. It has so many fringe users, like diffusing efficiency committees from CI, turntabling Niseis from Polana, and who knew people were going to play Butcher Shop at Reading. Well, I certainly didn't, but the turntable certainly came into play. Anyway, second Jackson comes into play, and you bet I'm going to trash that if he doesn't automatically do it himself. So at this point, Dave is actually digging for his second copy of Breaking News. And possibly wiping all those useless agendas from his hand, which is fair enough. Let's skip forward the video a bit, because I don't think I have much to say about this. Oh yes, you can see my hand. I also have a copy of Rebirth. Again, just like a turntable, this is going to be a surprise card that I'm going to play at the most opportune time to really disrupt my opponent. Doesn't know about it, I'm going to play it as a surprise and try to get maximum mileage out of it. Beware though that unlike the sync matchup, rebirthing into Kim is not a strictly good choice because I will lose my recurring credits of Wizard. This means that I cannot this means that it's harder to control his Sands, control his Sensi Actors Unions. I'll actually have to pay real credits for that. So that is something to keep in mind. So I do actually want to hold off playing Edward Kim as quickly as possible, as far as possible, until I'm quite confident that I can hammer HQ for consecutive turns. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure he has the entire combo in hand. So I want to be able to get into HQ, whack it for a couple of turns to completely defuse the combo, and then I can start pounding R&D or something to that effect. Again, my opponent is not letting up on the pressure. This is actually quite good play by my opponent. The fact that he preemptively ISIS R&D, which is the server I would probably attack, and then tries to bait me into running a remote is actually a double whammy for me. Now, since we've played before, I suspect that that is complete bait. So I don't think I actually go for the remote here. I sense that he's trying to force me to run that remote and it's not going to do good things for me. So instead, I'm going to play the rebirth right now and attack the server that he neglected to defend, which was HQ. A simple quandary is, and one card to Faust was all I needed to bonk the Sweet Sweep. That was not what I wanted to see at all. Sweet Sweep was not the card. I needed to hit a kill card or a 24/7. So that was very unfortunate. And of course, my opponent, being the good player that he is, installs a new card into a new remote, drawing a couple more cards, and then ices up HQ with wraparound. So that's a pretty solid defense against me. I haven't drawn my David yet. I have no Corrodas. HQ is going to be impenetrable. I'm going to find that out the hard way. So, Kim is off the plans for now. There's no way I'm going to be able to get into his HQ. Without Wildside Draw, I could very well never see David for the rest of this game. And I still need to suppress him. Since I have no route into HQ, I need to suppress his other servers, and that includes the Sansa and the remote. Gotta trash that. Paying 5 real credits hurts and puts me level with his credit level, which kinda sucks, but it has to be done. So yeah, I'm on 12 credits to his 9. I am in mid-season's range, but hopefully I can turn things around. I do have a daily cast ticking, so I think I should be good. I think I have a gamble in hand as well, or something to that effect. Just like him, I'm trying to hold money cards in hand so that he doesn't anticipate me being able to out-trace a mid-seasons when I actually can. So I'm just hyper-drawing at this point. I see even more money cards, a couple of daily cards in my hand, the medium, which I still don't really have time to play. I'm looking at my heap right now because I do have a same old thing. I'm trying to find the same old knife that will allow me to chuck 4 cards to kill the wraparound once and for all, since I haven't found the David yet, but to no avail. There was no knife in the bin. So not a very good draw, huh? Well, I'm just going to play the money card while I can. And I think for my last click I draw here because the draw is what I really need. And at this point, since you've noticed that Hoyland didn't score anything from that remote, you can be pretty sure it's a bluff. Maybe it's a QPM, maybe it's a Sansan. Either way, I'm not that concerned right now. So I play the same old thing here. I'm not sure if that's a mistake. That possibly is a mistake. There's not much that I really want to recur from archives at this point. There's no knife. So yeah, I think that was possibly a wasted click. I could have spent that click drawing up instead. So you notice my hand is double Parasite because I think he tends to run rather weak guys, along with I've Had Worse, Daily Cast, and a Rebirth. Sorry, that's not a Rebirth, that's a Sure Gamble. Dave Hoyland installs and advances a card, and at this point you would know pretty much that it is an agenda. At this point, the New Reading stream kind of mucks up. Sorry about that. I can't do anything about that. But basically, I'm forced to run that server. And I was pretty sure it was going to be an Exploder Palooza. I mean, it could be a QPM, sure. That is a very good mind game there. But either way, I have to check it, and I don't. I could knife it, but I don't really have the time to. So I'm just going to steal the Palooza right here. Yes, I cannot really afford to knife it because that will bring me to a too low a credit level. By going through the normal way, I ensure that he cannot do anything funny with breaking news next turn, checking it to make sure it's not a breaking news, and then escaping the mid-seasons trace with a Sure Gamble. I tried to play the Sure Gamble here, and then I realized by playing the Sure Gamble, I'll leave myself below 5 credits. Sorry, below 4 cards, which is a very stupid thing to do. If he has a breaking news in hand, he can fast advance it on the Sand that's in the Raven remote, and then play a single Scorch to kill me. So I did not play the gamble, I took a credit instead, and my opponent was not able to outtrace me with mid-seasons. Instead, he scores a breaking news, putting him up to 3 points, but more importantly, placing the pressure on me again. This is a very good sign that he has the kill combo in hand if he's so intent on scoring those breaking newses. He has the kill combo in hand. Once again, my win percentage drops down to 40%. I double draw here, desperate to find my last copy of I've Had Worse. I couldn't find it. At this point, I was like, am I really resigned to a 40% coin flip? After working so hard for 4 agenda points, is my fate going to be determined by a traffic accident snipe? I couldn't let that happen. So, with 2 clicks left to spare, I have to attack some server. It's not going to be HQ. I can't find the David either, so I can't get into HQ. It has to be R&D. I'm thinking of what possible ice I could get past on R&D. There wasn't much. Gutenberg, I would have to take the tag. Raven, I would have to take the tag. I'll have to ditch 2 cards. Wraparound would stop me cold, but I had to try. I had to play to my out. So I ran R&D. Perhaps force him to rest some ice. If he goes below 3 credits, it will be a mistake. I'm sure he won't though. So let's see what combination of ice he reses. I can only afford to chuck 2, maybe 3 cards to this run. Any more would put me would lower my win rate from 40% to 0. Straight up. Because if I end my turn on anything less than 5 cards, I will be killed by the 24/7 combo. So, he doesn't rest the first ice, which was good news. The second ice is a pretty flimsy piece of resistor. I'm very happy to see that. I access and whoo, I needed that. I mean, giving your opponent an extra agenda point is never a good thing, but I so desperately needed that. That completely turns off the breaking news 24/7. And most importantly, that puts me up at 5 agenda points. This means that I win the game on the next agenda steal. Even if I steal the last breaking news, even if I steal a QPM, I can swap it for the build in his core area to win the game. So, all I need to do right now is to steal one more agenda, and this is where I start making misplays. I knew that one more agenda would win me the game. Yeah, but I was still playing so cautiously around the kill that I was still playing control style when really I should just be hammering R&D with my medium. The fact that he didn't erase the outer ice on R&D should have been a hint that I really need to be pressuring his centrals. Not doing that was a big mistake this game. I should have realized that mid-seasons was completely off the table because the next agenda still wins me the game. So instead of drawing here, I should be playing medium and running R&D. This is a huge mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. Again, as I said, I knew that I just needed one agenda to win, but things didn't add up for me. I didn't realize that translated into being safe from mid-seasons. I took a bunch of money when I don't need 15 credits to win this game. I just need to install a medium and boom, I win. So this allows my opponent to score the build from his hand, and rest the Sand no less, putting him up at 6 points. So at this game, again, another faulty decision I made was thinking that I still had control of the game. Counting the agendas, he realized the only one pointer that he could possibly threaten me with was a QPM. So the only way he's going to win at this point is if I get tagged carelessly by a data raven and access a QPM. That would give him the win. In my mind, if I played carefully and did not trip up on my central accesses, I would win. I forgot that there was another breaking news in the deck. I forgot that even the 15 minutes is out. But I completely neglected the fact that there was a third breaking news in the deck, and that would give him the win. So again, I didn't play the centrals. I wasn't aggressive enough. I went for the Sand instead because I knew that that would win him the game if he found his Astro or had a QPM in hand. So I ran to trash the Sand, which was probably a mistake. Again, one turn ago I should have dumped the medium on the table and just hammered R&D hard as hell. Look at his credit pool. He can't do anything about that. Yeah. Mistakes. So, again, I'm just playing control style here, which is a huge mistake. I'm controlling his remote when really I should just be finding the last agenda to win. I mean, sure, I get the Sand, I have enough money to trash it, yada yada, but I did not respect the possible breaking news. Now he doesn't have it in hand just yet. He tries to reconstruct his remote. Playing a new piece of ice, desperately drawing for his last out, his last agenda point. I don't think he finds it here. Does he? Yeah, now he does. That final draw drew him to the breaking news. I think. Yes, I think so. There is a breaking news in his hand. So basically right now I have one turn to live. That's not even 4 clicks, that's 3 clicks because I installed my wild side a couple turns ago. So I finally find my David, so I play it. Now I'm happy that I get to use Kim's ability. But I'm not doing this to get his breaking news. I'm just doing this to turn off his kill. I was still zoned into the fact that he could possibly mid-season or 24/7 me. I did not try to get agendas. I was just bonking for the kill. Sure, I killed his Scorched Earth. I'm happy about that. My job's done. Time to retire. After that laundry run, I have one last click left. They install David, run HQ. My last click could have been run HQ again. I even had a knife in hand, so I could knife HQ. While I was thinking, I've already used Kim's ability. No point running HQ again. You know what? I'm just gonna check archives. Make sure he's not being cheeky. Make sure he didn't stash any agendas in there. Of course he wasn't. He revealed no agendas. And because he had the breaking news in hand, he then won. Let's fast forward the video to watch that. Yep. So he took his mandatory draw and paused for a while. Double check, triple check. Yep, that's game. And he revealed the rest of his hand to me. It was basically all kill pieces and an Exploder Palooza. At the point of my final click, if I made a run on HQ, I would have had a 50% shot of getting the breaking news or the Palooza from his hand. I did not. That was a mistake. Well, some might say that that was very unlucky by me. The first laundry run on HQ should have given me a 40% chance to win. Instead, I hit the kill card that I didn't want to hit. But to be fair, throughout the game, I was jammy enough to swap all his breaking users away from his score area. And it turned out that giving him extra agenda points cost me the game. That QPM at the start of the game, if he hadn't had that QPM, the game would have been so different, right? He wouldn't have scored that breaking news. I would have had the lock on him. That one extra agenda point made all the difference. So what's the moral of the story? Not just for me, but for all of you watching. Well, there's lots of luck involved, be it access luck, luck of the draw, etc. It is a card game after all. But let's not fall back on that and blame it for our losses, because there's always ways to win. There's always ways to improve your win rate. There's always ways to get better results. And I think that's one of the fundamentals to improving. Again, I could just say, well, I had a 40% shot on that dirty laundry run. I just got unlucky. I'll never improve, if that's my mindset. Same thing. If I just resigned to the 40% luck of the traffic accident and I didn't try to swap his breaking news, I would never have discovered how far I could get in this game. Everyone makes mistakes. Even people who make the top cut. you'll be surprised. Even though this was a second day top cut and everyone came in refreshed, I still made a boatload of mistakes. And Dave Hoyland, being the superior player that he is, really punished me for that. Learn from them and try not to make them again, I guess. I think one very important thing is you notice that I spend a lot of time pondering, especially on those turntable turns. It's quite important to slow down and consider your outs. I did that very carefully. I always, on those specific turns, I identified the best server to attack, and I made sure that I have enough clicks and cards to get through the server with fouls and then finish my turn on 5 cards. So I was very good at that, considering what outs I had and how to optimize my chances of survival. I, however, did not consider my opponent's outs. I only thought that he could win with a QPM or an Astro in the server. I forgot about the final breaking news. That was a big oversight. So yes, slow down your gameplay sometimes. You'll be impressed at how much it helps you sometimes. Well, hope you've learned something. I sure have. Thanks for watching. Happy net running. See you around.